What up, players? All right, first of all, vlog yesterday. I have just not been doing well. And, I don't know, I guess I was thinking like, oh, I owe you guys an apology, but nah, I know you guys will be like, nah, fuck that. I know you guys don't care. Things happen. Switch. Roller switch. So what? Yeah, I'm doing better today. But I think it was like 61 today, which is, weird for my area, February 3rd. But honestly, it was nice to I went outside, and with like the windstorms we've had, there was just a bunch of little like sticks and stuff, and I went out and picked those up, which the neighbor, we kind of share a backyard. He has a dog, and he's always eating sticks, which I wasn't really thinking about it, but he was like, yeah, I saw you picked up a bunch of the sticks in your yard. I appreciate that, because he always eats them. So, killed two birds with one stone there, but it was nice to just putz around the yard a little bit. I couldn't really do much. I was looking at all the projects that I want to finish or start, and today would have been a good day to do that, but I can't. In front of my house, you guys know I'm like crazy about keeping the water away from the house. The front of the house, I sloped it the best that I could. It was kind of sloped, and I built up like a little bit of a mound right before the house, because it was kind of going uphill, and it started to go downhill towards the house. Like it was level with the top of the cinder block foundation. So I kind of dug that out a bit and sloped it towards the side of the house, and I left a mound there, and then we have like zebra grass there. So in the summer, that zebra grass sucks up a lot of water, but in the wintertime it's dead, so it doesn't. But one thing I want to do, it sort of helps, but we had a pretty heavy rainstorm the other day, and the wind was blowing, and when it hits the house, it drops down the siding onto the top of that block, and it just soaks in. I think a little bit of water might be getting in there. I didn't see any in the basement, but what I would like to do is somehow maybe use some leveling cement so it's a bit of an angle, and the top of that's like not painted or anything, so that block just soaks in that water. Because there's a little bit of a gap. If I can get it sloped just a little bit away so it comes down into the grass, like in the little trench that I made, it's very subtle. But with the mound, it looks kind of big in front of it. I want to dig that out and get like some 3 or 4 inch sewer and drain pipe. And I don't have a table saw, but if I can get one, or if I can make a jig to use my circular saw to cut it in half to make a gutter, and then just slightly slope it down and let it run right out to the corner of the house where the downspout is, and just tie it right into there, which goes out to the woods. And then right there, because I'm getting water in that corner still. I didn't get any that day, and there was a lot of snow that melted too when we got all that rain. So I think if I do that, I was thinking about kind of digging it out a little bit as well, and maybe just lining some plastic there, and not like cupping it like that, but just kind of letting it slope down. So any water that does hit the ground there or whatever, it'll kind of just underground, like hit that plastic and go away a little bit, even if it's only like, 3 or 4 inches. I think that would be helpful. I don't think I'm having any issues in the front of the house, though. There's a French drain there, but I've never seen a French drain work well. The only time I see them work is when they're in Like when they're like along the retaining walls and stuff, I never see them work. When there's like a flat yard that gets flooded from like rain, and they'll put French drains in with the yard drain, like the one I think I showed you guys I have out there towards the end of my driveway. That's the only time I see them work. So I kind of want to make like a little gutter system in the ground because I feel like I can at least see it. So if it gets clogged or whatever, leaves going, I just blow it out. You know what I mean? It's a little more maintenance, but I feel like it'll just always work. Even if there's a little bit of debris in it, it'll, you know, if it fits in the pipe, it'll go in the pipe. But anyways, I want to do that to that corner. And then our driveway goes along our house, and I want to, it has pavers on it, which they look nice, but I had originally pulled 4 or 5, maybe 6 rows of those pavers away from the house, and I put a bunch of clay down. Our yard, it's like a lot of clay. Just like a shovel full every foot or so, and kind of spread it out to exaggerate the slope, so it's sloped away from the house. And it's settled in now. It's looking pretty good. But again, when rain hit, and wind always seems to come from that direction, it hits the house and runs down the siding and all that like it's supposed to, but it's not sealed between the foundation of the house and that those pavers. And that wall just gets beat up over there. I mean, the paint's peeling off real bad, and some of the block doesn't even have any paint on it. It's all messed up. So I was kind of thinking about extending or just doing a gutter along the house the same way, like I said, in front of the house, just cutting a plastic pipe in half, sewer and drain pipe, 3 or 4 inch. 3 inch will probably be enough, and just run it along the house. Put the pavers back. I'll have to recut them. And then they make that caulking that you put in cracks of cement to keep it sealed, like in those cracks. It's like a very durable and malleable like caulking that's very exterior rated. It's I don't know if you ever go to like an industrial place or like in the city where they just redid a sidewalk or something, in the cracks, like this where the stress crack, or yeah, I think that's what they call it, the stress cracks that they make, like the grooves, you know. It'll be like in the shape of squares usually, or sometimes they'll do a fancy design. There's like a crack there. They do that so when it settles, it'll crack there, and it won't be as noticeable if it does it right. But a lot of times they'll put that like caulking in, and it'll expand and contract really well. But I was thinking about putting that on each side of that gutter too, up against the house, and then the pavers too. So, and then maybe even doing a little bit of plastic underground. Be a lot of work, and it's kind of experimental, but I feel like it would work. Because if I put that gutter up against the house, you know, like the half pipe, and then sealed it with that caulking, it should last a while. I probably only have to do it every maybe 5, 10, 15 years or so. So that wouldn't be too bad. But any water that hits the house, it won't go down in between the driveway and the house and soak into the block. The other thing too, if I dig that out a little bit, I can paint, you know, get some exterior paint and paint down in there and help seal that up a little bit. The best way to do it would be dig out all around the house and do exterior sealant and all that stuff. Maybe even some tar. Tar doesn't last all that long though. A few years you'll get out with tar. But I think that'll help because my driveway goes right down into the yard, and which, you know, is all sloped. Most of it's sloped to go towards that yard drain I have. So I can just let it end right at the driveway, and it'll just right down into the yard. You know what I mean? And I think it'll be a good backup too, because I originally sloped that because when we first moved into the house, at the top of our driveway where it meets the street, the curb had gotten worn down in the one corner of the property, or in that corner of the property, and water would come down the street and just go right over that curb where it was worn down and right down the driveway. And I think it just had enough momentum. It just came right towards the house, and we'd get not a lot. It was before I finished the basement. This side, my side of the basement is what we call it. We had a little bit of an issue, but it was like a heavy rain. It would get like a short stream, and it would never make it to the drain. It would dry up before. But I want to try and prevent as much. I haven't had that since. The most I had, I think, when I updated you on one of the vlogs, it was like moist looking in the one corner where I call it the tech closet, where I have my my router and switches and modem and stuff, and in my electrical panel. But it's like dry now, because that's the thing. I did say it, because with heating our house with wood, it's pretty dry in the house. So it's any moisture, I think, in the walls down here, and I left a gap underneath to let some air flow. I think it just sucks the moisture out of there. But I want to try and prevent as much as I can. So we built the curb back up, so we don't really have that issue. But it's now that, like, we had a warm day and it was down in the single digits, last week and the week before, it's all busted up. So it's still pretty high, and the water, there's like my driveway and then the curb, and then on the road side, the curb is still there, but it's like the water's kind of trenched it out. So if I can, I think having that gutter up along the house would be just another, like, a backup too. So if any water comes down the road and that curb fails and I don't notice, hopefully that gutter would catch most of it. I think it's a good idea. I don't know. I think it'd be a good idea. And it wouldn't really cost that much, because 3-inch sewer and drain pipe, I think they sell them in like 8 or 10 foot sticks. And I would only need probably 4 or 5 sticks, maybe. Probably about 4. And I think I have 6 feet or so already. So, because I might need like 2 or 3.5, and I already have like a half, I think that'd be a good idea. But today would have been a good day to do that, but I can't. Because I got to pull up the pavers and dig it out a little bit. And then when I put the pavers back, I'm going to have to cut them. I have the tools to do it. I just don't have the limbs to do it. Yeah, so. But I'm feeling better today. It's the TikTok thing is just, I've been depressed already. I've just been slow. I've noticed it. I was saying it yesterday, I think. Since Thursday, I've just been slowly, like, things have just been building up, and I can't play, usually to relieve stress, I play video games, or I'll go just walk around in the woods, explore stuff. There's like spots that I like to go check out, see what's going on. There's ride my dirt bike, ride my pedal bike, and I can't do any of that, so it sucks. My pedal bike I could probably do. I think this side is my front brake. Maybe it's the back brake. I think it's the back brake. I'd prefer to use the back brake instead of... I try and use both at the same time when I'm braking. But I could probably do it, but I just don't want to risk it, you know what I mean? So I think I said, the surgeon said he okayed me to drive, but the physical therapist does not want me to drive. So I'm like, well, if I need to drive, I'll do it. But I don't want to risk hurting anything. And I was talking to my friend, and he was saying, you don't want to do that, because if I do get into an accident, not only do I risk hurting my tendons again, rupturing them and having to get surgery again, I can be held liable, even though the surgeon cleared me to do it. So I just don't want to take any risks right now, because, well, for obvious reasons. So, hey, I haven't really promoted this second channel on TikTok, so I don't know if anybody's here from TikTok. I think it's just all my OG people. But if you are, you probably notice, or if you do follow me on TikTok, you'll notice I have been posting today. Because here's the kicker about TikTok. It's supposedly a national security threat, but we can still access it here in the States with our computer. And actually, I was just scrolling on TikTok on my phone on Safari. If you go to tiktok.com, you can sign in. It's really limited on the phone. But on a computer, pretty much every function is there. The phone, it's annoying though, because after every like 5 videos, a pop-up comes up and it's like, download the app, and sometimes you bump it and then it opens up the app store and it's like, not available in your region. I was like, or I'm just like, I know, stop reminding me. So it just seems like such a power play. They got so big so quickly, and they're still a private company because they probably did a lot of stuff right, business-wise, at least. And I feel like I have something in my eye. Oh, it looks like there is something in my eye. No, I think it's just a shadow. Yeah. But like the stuff the CEO dude from Singapore that he went through when he was like questioned in front of Congress or whatever. It was the same stuff that they were asking Mark Zuckerberg. They're not taking any extra information than all these other social media apps. They're just not. And like people shop on Temu and stuff. Like they're like, dude, I get ads all the time from Temu, and it's just like, it'd be like a mini excavator, and then you'll spin a wheel. I've never bought anything from there or downloaded the app. You spin a wheel and it'll be like 100% off your next purchase. So it's like, you're just gonna send me, it probably can't send me the entire excavator. There's gotta be shipping or something. But they're like just trying to get you to use the service so much. I'm like, they gotta be like tracking shopping habits and stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure they're a Chinese company. Amongst other like apps and stuff, right? Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. And there's so many people out there that like don't know how to use different apps and phones and services and stuff, and getting scam calls, getting scammed by scam calls. And I'm just like, we're worried about TikTok right now? But Canada isn't, and England isn't, and all these other, like, countries. Like, I don't know. Just seems really fishy to me. And it's their and TikTok's the biggest competition to all the other platforms. So, like, our president right now, Donald Trump, owns Truth Social. Elon Musk is like right-hand man right now. He owns X. Zuckerberg owns Meta, which is, well, a bunch of different stuff, but mostly Instagram and Facebook, right? And he was going public with a bunch of stuff with, like, before Donald Trump got in. He was on Joe Rogan and stuff. What other platform? Are there any other platforms that people use? Google, YouTube? They've been kind of quiet, honestly. I mean, of all the things I've been really active since September, the last 4 months, and Google or YouTube and TikTok are my biggest. They've been growing the most, and man, I can't. Every time I think about it, I mean, I kind of just like today. I woke up. I was still a little pissed about it, but I was like, you know what? Let's just jump on the computer. Let's figure this out. And it takes me so much longer now to post on TikTok. It is incredibly annoying. But I kind of already knew this, but I've kind of forgot. You can actually schedule posts on TikTok, so it was kind of nice. Like, it took me like 30 minutes to schedule like 5 posts. Because, typing things out the voice to text on my computer is very clunky. So a lot of the stuff I had to type, and it's with my left hand, and I'm just like, do. I'm starting to get a little faster, but man, it was just like, it took so long. Maybe hopefully I'll get faster at it, right? But it's like another thing to the list, to the already, like, that everything I do throughout the day takes me forever. You know what I mean? That's why I've just been making like video content and just not even recording or anything. But honestly, I've been itching to like work on some songs. I just, before, when I had two hands, I could do both, and I would have time to, like, you know, hang out with the family, have a beer, drink or drink a beer, and play a video game, and go to bed. And every day I would just do it over and over again. You know what I mean? Or not that I would drink a beer every night, but you know what I mean? Just like chill, right? It's just like crazy. But I think tomorrow, well, I'll get into that in a second. Tomorrow I'm going to, because I picked up another side job on Wednesday. So that'll be great, because I closed out my budget today, and I did pretty good. Like, my Spotify's been bumping. I mostly pay attention to Spotify because that's my biggest platform. So, like, and everything else kind of not trickles down, but like Apple Music's my second best. So, like, if Spotify's doing good, Apple Music's probably not far behind, and I think it's like Deezer and whatever. So when my Spotify's doing good, everything else is doing good, and it's not doing that well, nothing else is doing that well usually. But I'm just going to make a bunch of stuff. I like reposted a bunch of old stuff today. My brain didn't have it in me to do it. So I just downloaded some older stuff that did well, and I posted it. Which I guess sometimes you just got to do, you know? But I kind of felt lazy doing that, but I was just like, my brain, I can't today. So I'm going to try and pump out a bunch of stuff, content-wise, enough for tomorrow and Wednesday, and if I can, maybe some Thursday, just to give myself some time to work on a song. And if I can just continue to work on these things, I asked my friend if he could run Pro Tools for me. He, like, disappeared from the face of the planet. Like, I don't know. We were talking and hanging out a lot, and then he kind of just, like, we kind of just stopped talking, and he like disappeared, man. He got really busy. He was going through a lot of life stuff, and he doesn't even like answer my texts anymore. So I don't even know. I at first I was just like, well, he's really busy. He's really busy, you know. But I called and asked him if he needed help. He was gonna move and all this other stuff, but he like never replied. So I'm like, I must have did or said something that pissed him off. You know what I mean? But then he commented on my post when I posted on my personal Instagram and Facebook, which, you know, I only have them because, well, you have to have a personal Facebook to have a Facebook page, like to have my music page. If that wasn't the case, I wouldn't even have my personal Facebook. But I'm friends with a lot of people in there. I met a lot of people from like just all over. You know what I mean? I have, I don't even know, like 1,000 friends or something. Like, it's a lot of people. Just from like, I met a lot of people from all over the world when I lived in Ohio, when I lived in Florida. From touring, I met a ton of people, you know. And it's nice to like stay in contact with those people, you know what I mean? So anyways, I posted on there just updating what happened to me, and he commented on the post, and he was just like, oh man, that's crazy. Let me know if you need anything. And I was like, you want to run Pro Tools? Or it was something along those lines. I'm kind of the short version of the story. He never replied, so I don't know. I don't know if I pissed him off or what. I don't know. But yeah, so I what is that? That's weird. Look like a water spot on the interior wall there, but I'm gonna probably wrap up my vlog here soon. But I want to. I'm gonna work on my physical therapy. So if I make faces, don't mind me. But I'm just gonna keep trying. I'm gonna kind of switch gears again, just because I doing the same thing for a while is just like daunting. I just need to like switch it up sometimes. You know what I mean? Whew. I'm past the period. My tendons are still healing, but I'm past the period of like critical. Like I could rupture them just from doing like my physical therapy. So that's good, but still makes me nervous because they're like tight. So sometimes when they move and I feel the pressure. I'm like, oh, I'm just like anticipating like something. I read so many things and watched so many things about it, and I probably shouldn't have because it scares me, or it scared me. If you rupture a tendon, you'll hear it pop and you'll feel it, and it doesn't feel good, and I don't want that. So I'm always just kind of like bracing myself for the crash landing, but I don't think I'm doing the exercises she showed me to do. So actually, I don't know if I can do these while I vlog. I really gotta focus. You guys might be interested in actually seeing these. It's tight. Which I was talking to my neighbor today, right? And he was like, so you're right-handed, so your right hand is your strumming hand. So that's better than your left hand where you would have to on guitar. And I was like, you know what? I did not think of that. So another good thing that came out, or, that could have been worse, right? Because it'd be much harder. Like, it's going to be much easier to hold a pick and get strumming down than it would be, I think, to do moving all the individual fingers like this. Because I am so far from doing this with my right hand. But I'm very close to being able to grab a pick. I had physical therapy today, and my which she corrected me because my wife took me today, and I'm like doing the exercise, and it's very boring for someone sitting there, but she wanted to see what was going on or whatever, and she's just kind of watching me, and I look over at her, and I was like, "Welcome to physical therapy." And my physical therapist, she was like, "It's actually occupational therapy," and I'm like, "Sorry, I don't know the difference." So I still don't know what that means. I didn't even ask her. I was like, "Oh, oops." But what was I saying? I started like 3 different conversations. So, I was hoping I could find someone to run Pro Tools for me, which is my recording software that I use. I could probably transfer the stuff over to another program if someone would be more comfortable to do that, but it'd probably just take longer, and I'd have to move it back to mix. I just, it kind of stinks because Pro Tools, it was like an industry standard back in the day when I was learning it and I got certified in it, and now there's so many good programs out there, and it's just like that software, Pro Tools, is just like, it kind of went downhill a little bit. Like, it's still a good program, but I'm like, I kind of want to learn something else. You know what I mean? But now it's just, I got enough shit going on, so I'm not going to do that. But, I mean, I know a little bit with, like, Logic. Logic's a pretty good, powerful program. I can never get the keyboard shortcuts right, though. It was kind of illogical to me. But, yeah, so I summed that up. Physical therapy, that's where I just left off. So my brace, I have it off right now because I'm doing my shit. Let me me strap myself in. I don't want to hurt myself. She's really happy with physical therapy. However, since she found out that I also severed a tendon from my wrist on this side, which is so I can move your wrist, move your wrist this way and that way. There was no instruction for her in the prescription or whatever of what to do for occupational therapy with that, because she's a certified hand therapist. So she specializes in the physical therapy for the hand. And we have been doing the finger stuff because she only knew that, and I only knew that I severed tendons in my fingers. But then she found out about the wrist, and I guess some of the stuff you do with the fingers goes against what you should do for the wrist. Did I say that right? Some of the stuff you do with the fingers, you shouldn't do if you severed tendons for your wrist. If it was just my fingers, we'd be good. If it was just my wrist, we'd be doing something different. But she has to do a little bit of both, but mind that the stuff I do for my wrist can't interfere with the finger stuff, and vice versa. Does that make sense? So anyways, she was saying, because I fell down the steps, which you guys should know. I think I said that. Was that a week or two ago? So nothing hurt, but she's been erring on the side of caution with everything because it's such a severe injury. So, that kind of pushed things back like a week or so, or a couple visits, right? And since we found out about the wrist thing, she was saying that today, if I didn't hurt my wrist, we would have been able to, because the next step, which may be next week, is she's basically going to take this splint. I don't think she's making a new one. She's just going to cut this pretty much in half right here. So I won't need this part of it. So it'll just hold my fingers in place, but I'll be able to move my wrist, which is like, I'm really excited for. So, but she's still needs to hear from my surgeon because she wants to make sure that she's following his instructions correctly, because there were no instructions about the wrist. So she wasn't sure if he overlooked that or she's just erring on the side of caution, which I appreciate. I'd rather take the time and do it right and whatever. So I'll give you guys an update, and then I think I'm going to wrap this up. So I think I was explaining this to you guys last time. It's a little bit different now, and I've gotten better at it. So one of the things I do now, before I was doing the fingers, which I showed you. So the fingers, I'll try and center it the best I can. That's pretty good. That's my desk. My desk is super dirty. So the fingers, I would do individual and all at once, and either from the main knuckle here, or the middle knuckle, or the top knuckle, the last knuckle. So this is the last knuckle here, then the middle knuckle, and then your, first knuckle. I have to pull those in passively, so I'm not actively moving my fingers like this. I'm using this hand to curl my fingers on my bad hand, what they call hook hand. And then I let them go, and I let them on their own. So like if you're holding your hand like this and then you relax, they automatically move out. So I let my fingers move out, and then I let my... So in the splint, see, you can kind of tell there's space in between here. So my fingers aren't up against the brace, the splint, like they would be when they're strapped in. So once they're in the relaxed position, I have to keep my arm and tendons relaxed. It's a lot of focus, so probably a good thing that I play drums. So now I have to actively move my fingers back. Can you see around my thumb? move my fingers back. So like that's relaxed. I'm not moving my fingers, not curling my fingers in, that's relaxed. But I can actively move my fingers back to the splint position. So I've already been doing that, and I'm doing really good. And my fingers can touch my palm now, passively. I can't actively move them yet. I have to really focus on letting them curl back by themselves. But see how they don't, see how like my middle finger's in more? They're still healing. But that's part of I've been doing that for a while. But now, my newest thing, so my hand is kind of just naturally in splint position because it's been like that for 4 weeks now. It was 4 weeks post-op on Sunday. Yesterday. So now I keep my arm up against a straight edge and my wrist is naturally bent like this. So I can passively, which means I use this arm, this hand, to straighten my wrist out. Ooh. Now see, there's still a bit of a gap here, but I can straighten my wrist out. And hold on. Gotta let it relax. I did a lot of this today, so I may not need to really do this. But I feel like they're tight in here, in my forearm. They were repaired here, but it feels tight here because they're stretching. It almost feels like, she said it shouldn't really burn, but it's a little hot in here because it was so warm today and we still had a fire going. And some of my steri strips come off. I can't show them in the video, but if you guys want some more pictures, I can show you. It looks a lot better than the first picture. But it just kind of feels warm there. So see, it's limp. Not limp, but it's up against that straight edge. But if I push my wrist back and curl my fingers, I'll see I'm pretty straight, but I can feel that tension here. I can feel them stretching. So what I need to do now is curl my fingers like this. I'm not going to do it that much because I was able to do it a little bit more than this, but I'm going to just take it easy because I did a lot of this today, and she said I need to take it easy because since my last physical therapy, it was hard to do. I couldn't do much of this at home because it was like working out, you know what I mean? If you do a bunch of landscaping or something one day, how you're out for a few days because your muscles hurt, that's what this feels like, but in my tendons. So if I curl my hands like this, I'm going to start with my good hand. I'm going to start to let go, but I need, with my bad hand, to try and hold that position, but not do it 100%. So see, I'm holding my fingers like this. And then I relax them. Now it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but that was about an inch or so. And then again with like the finger exercises, I can actively move them back to splint position. Actually, the wrist was supposed to be bent a little bit, but yeah. So that's I need to do that a few times a day, and that takes a lot more concentration. But I'm going to put this first. Let's say that. All the things I was talking about, doing content, short form content, and working on some songs. Ah, shit. I got a new sock today, and I asked her to make it long so it covers my fingers so my fingers don't stick to the splint. They get uncomfortable after a while rubbing on my splint, and if I'm walking around, they'll get sweaty and stick to the splint. So I want to make content. I want to work on some songs. That's what's helping me pay the bills right now. So like I kind of have to do that. But I want to really focus now on my home therapy. because the more I do, the longer or the faster it's going to pan out. Hey, what's up?
Nothing. I wasn't sure if you were done or not.
I'm about wrapping up.
Okay,
So, yep. This is going to be the different, if I focus on this, it's going to be the difference of 3 months or 6 months. You know what I mean? I may even be able to get it done sooner, but I'm not worried about the time, but I want to make sure that I'm really working on it. The fingers were much easier because, like, while I was waiting for something to upload or download, I could just unstrap my strap and, you know, just it was very easy. I didn't need a lot of brain power to do it, you know, to work on my fingers. And the physical therapist said she could even tell that I was doing them because of how far she was able to bend my fingers in, you know. So I need to keep doing that, but even now that new one that I just showed you with the wrist. So I really want to focus on doing that and just getting it feeling good and working it without overdoing it. I was really bummed because last Thursday when I had my physical therapy, I woke up not in a great mood and all that, but Thursday it was sort of burning. Friday it was definitely burning. Like I said, it was like doing a workout, you know, so it just felt like it was burning. And Saturday was the same. A little bit better than Friday, but Saturday was the same. And Sunday still kind of hurt to do it, but it wasn't like, you know. So my point is since Thursday, I wasn't able to do any of my home therapy. And I don't know what it was. It's kind of a side note. I don't know what it is, but I was just like, oh man, like for some reason I thought I was going to be like in trouble. You know what I mean? Which I feel like is just, you know, like abusive behavior from like growing up, like from childhood, you know? But I couldn't do it. So I'm just like, I don't care if she's pissed. So, which I think has been the greatest quality that has come out from like almost bleeding out is like, there's so many times now where I'm just like, I'll stop and like, is this person mad or something? And I'm like, wait, my intentions weren't bad. I'm like, well, whatever, fine, they can be mad, whatever. Where before I used to just, I mean, you guys know, I just overthink shit so much. So I'm just like, you know, what if it's this? What if it's that? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, I don't give a shit. I just don't care what people think anymore or anything. So, anyways, what was I saying? Oh, but she wasn't. She was just very like, she's like, hey, you know, that happens. It's okay. But, you know, I can tell you're doing everything you can. And it's great that you're trusting your body to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. And so that's a good sign for me because I know that what I'm giving you to do at home, I can trust you to do it without hurting yourself. I was like, trust me, it's hard because the having like a muscle spasm after having the brace on all day. Sometimes I gotta like loosen these a little bit. Hopefully my physical therapist isn't watching, but it just like squeezes my. You probably can't tell on camera. The swelling's gone down a lot, but from the strap being tight here and here, this whole area was swollen, but it was just like really bulging out here. But yeah, she was super nice about it, and she was just like, you know, I can trust you, so that's good. So, and today, I was able to do some more, and it was great. She put my, I love when she like moves my wrist. It feels so good. She's able to move it more than I'm allowed to, and it just feels so good because my wrist is just so stiff and swollen, you know. But the first thing she did today, she has this like pad thing, and she put a towel with like a heating thing. It's like these things that are in hot water, like it's like a reverse ice pack. She puts that down with a towel, and I put my arm on there, and then she puts another towel on top and put another reverse ice pack on top of it, heating pad, and man, the heat started to soak through, and it felt so good, so good. But I think that's all I have for today. I must be feeling better. It's 45 minutes, so man, I hope TikTok comes back soon. I just liked using the app to consume content. There's a lot of really good creators on there, which I follow them elsewhere too. But I don't know what it is. I just like TikTok. I really like Vine, and it's similar to Vine, I guess. Not quite Vine. Vine was its own kind of thing, but man, it was just so cool. And I don't know. I just, there's so many, I don't know, man. I mean, occasionally I get hate on TikTok and YouTube, but not like I do on Facebook, man. Facebook is just, I don't even check my notifications on there anymore. Hardly, as you guys know. But the people there, they were just always so much nicer, which is crazy to me because I've heard people say, like, oh, the community there, they suck. I'm like, not for music, or at least not for me, man. Everybody was just so kind. Like, I made a video last night, like a little, like, vlog, like, update vlog. Like, I'm an idiot. I accidentally deleted TikTok, but I can still upload from my computer. I'm mad, but I'm going to try and keep posting. And people were just like, no worries, trying to give me some advice to, like, help me out, which I had already, like, looked into. I was trying to figure out how to download it on my phone again. It's impossible. Not completely impossible, but you basically have to, like, it's pretty much impossible. Let's just keep it at that for Americans. So people just trying to help me out, and one person was just like, hey man, just, we all enjoy your content, and we'll just, we're here. So I was just like, no one's ever said that to me, like, on Facebook. You know what I mean? Maybe back in the day, but man, I just missed that app. I can't believe I accidentally. How? So stupid. So stupid. What happened was I make content and stuff, right? And my drafts will get filled up. When you have drafts, it takes up space on your phone. And I wanted to do my vlog last night, and I always make sure I have space. And I only had a few gigs. And sometimes I'll just start vlogging, and a long video like this takes up a few gigs. And it's happened to me before where I was vlogging, and it's cut off and said you're out of memory. I don't want that to happen, so I make a habit to free up space first. Usually, I have a lot. But after a while, the drafts fill up, and I'm not going to use them. And it's easier to just delete the apps and then re-download them, and then they update too. And that's what I do with you, because I mostly use YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I deleted them, and then I open up the App Store, not even think about it, because I always delete them, open up the App Store, re-download them. I deleted, I opened up the App Store, the first one I went to look for was TikTok, and I was like, no, and I was like, fuck, shit. I was like, no. Maybe I didn't delete it, and I went back, I was like, no, I didn't delete it. Why isn't there a trash can? What? Oh my God, no, what do I do? And I was just like, shit. And that's when I started looking up, like, how can I, like, is there a way to, like, jailbreak it and do it? And, like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, maybe I could just download a free trial of a VPN and change it to, like, Canada or something. And I'm like, oh, it's just such a mess. You can't. You can use a VPN to switch your IP so it shows you're in Canada, but when your App Store or Google Play Store is registered to the States, it won't let you download it, even if you're on the other side of the planet. And the only way to switch or at least for the Apple Store, the only way to switch to the App Store to like Canada is you have to have a verified payment method from that country. And I don't. Which stinks, because I used to have a cousin that lived there. He passed away a few years ago. He would probably have let me do that. I'm like, oh, man. I don't know if anybody would trust me to do that or not, but I'm like, I don't know. I have the computer. It's just such a pain because I can't use voice to text. I only got one hand, but I'll make it work. Yesterday was just everything has just been piling up since Thursday, and yesterday was just the punch in the face, like right in the gut, man, like right in the freaking chin, dude. That just knocked me out. I was just like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Then I woke up today and I was like, I just want to work on a song. That's what I want to do. So, but I had physical therapy. I had to close out the budget. I had to pay the ambulance bill, and all this stuff takes forever. So, here I am. And it was so nice out today. I was like, I want to go work on a song, but I also want to go outside. And I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, well, how would you feel if you cut your wrist and you had to go get 2 surgeries, or, you didn't make it after, you cut your wrist again and you didn't make it this time. What would you regret right now? And I was like, going outside. So I went outside because it's supposed to be cold the rest of the week anyways. So I was like, you know what? And I think that helped. Because I went outside for a bit today. We walked to the bus stop, which isn't far, but at least I got to be outside. Hung out with Kimmy. Then we got back and I did some stuff. After I did what was my thought process, I went out to the workshop, and I cleaned up my workbench. I was working on something. I don't even remember what it was. So I just cleaned everything up and put it away because it was before my injury. My neighbor came over because I had the doors open. It was warmer outside than it was inside the workshop, so I just had the door open, let some air in. Neighbor came over. We shot the shit for a while. Friend called me. We shot the shit for a while. So I'm feeling better. I'm still I gotta regroup still. I don't know. But hey. I'm trying to focus on all the good stuff and what I can control. I just don't know how to get out of these funks, man, when it happens, especially when it's stuff that you can't control. Something as simple as deleting TikTok. That was and honestly, what's crazy is I've been trying to, I said yesterday in my vlog, I was like, if I can, maybe I'll have less screen time, because I've noticed my screen time has been way up on my phone. But then I was also thinking too, I was like, man, all I can really do right now, because I can't play video games, I can't do all the other things I mentioned earlier. But I've been watching a lot of YouTube. But the other thing I realized is when I'm sick of YouTube, I would just watch people on TikTok. And now I can't even do that. It was another release. It was one of very few releases that I had, and now I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the hell? But I'm trying to stay focused on the things that I can control. I just need to figure out how to get out of the funks, And when I vlogged before, I used to talk about that. And I was just I would take a day, because all I want to do was work on music stuff. but I would get so like burned out, but I just wanted to keep doing it. I like can't, I'm like a kid. You know what I mean? Like your kid's so tired and it's like, oh, they still want to keep playing, but you're like, just go to sleep. You're crying. You can't even hold yourself up and you want to play with your toys. What are you doing? You know what I mean? But I started to figure that out. That was going out to the shop and just tinkering with stuff, you know, working on an engine or riding my dirt bike or riding my pedal bike or whatever, and then I would regroup. I would come back after a day or two and I'm just like, what's up? It's a new me. Although my hand wasn't like this. I was, oof, can't turn it. Sorry, I was trying to make a joke and then I hurt myself. I just got to figure out what it is as one-handed moose. Because I feel like things are piling up around the house too. Like I said, I was walking around the yard. I'm like, I need to do this. I need to finish this project. I need to do that. I need to do this. The one part of my deck is rotting. I need to take that down and make it safe, you know? But it's kind of like, I wanted to do it now. I wanted to do it over the winter because I like doing physical work, but I like when it's cool out or even cold because I don't sweat. I would much rather be cold than hot. I hate being hot. Things around the house and here, you know, not in this room in particular, but just in the house I want to do. What can you do? Anyways, guys, thanks for the support. Thanks for using the Amazon affiliate link. I appreciate that. I got $11 last month, so thank you. It helps a lot. Well, as you guys know, we use the wood burner to heat our house, but we still leave the service of the gas on to the house for a backup, which I'm glad we utilized it a little bit. It was much easier just to turn the heater on or let it kick on with my hand. But that to keep the service on, it's $20 a month. So that's half of that. So that's great. Thank you. That was awesome. I haven't checked merch. So if you bought merch, thank you. The shirts are automatic. They go through a company that I think you guys know all that. So if it was a vinyl or something, I should have gotten it. I will double check. I keep getting signed up. It's supposed to give me a notification when someone buys something, but it keeps logging me out. So if you did get a vinyl or CD or something like that I have to ship from my house, I'm sorry. I will check tonight and I'll get that out to you. What else? I think that's it. Thanks for the support, guys. The Spotify has been way up, which I think I said earlier. I haven't checked Apple Music and the other big ones that I have, but it's been doing well. I got a nice, I'm not getting rich anytime soon, but I got a nice royalty check last month, which was great. That was another thing I started to talk about that I didn't finish earlier. Between that and Patreon and the affiliate stuff and the merch last month, almost covered what I needed it to cover, like bill-wise and stuff. So I don't need a lot to live. I keep a very low cost of living. So, but I made about half of what I need. So that's fantastic. That was great. Plus I had a side job before I got hurt, and then I did a side job on Saturday. I got one coming up on Wednesday. So I appreciate it, even with this happening. And the royalties are from September. So that's when I started. That's when I quit my job. So I can only imagine it would go up, ramp up a little bit from there. So, yeah. I mean, I know I've been making a lot of the videos and been getting a lot of new followers and stuff. So that's because my following and stuff has been going up on Spotify too, because people can follow you on there, you know. So on the back end of my Spotify, it shows you listeners, streams, and followers. And all of those have been going up. I've been getting more monthly listeners. I've been getting more streams. And I've been getting more followers. So that's great. They show you saves too, because I guess you can save the music. Ooh. So if you like a song or an artist, you know, you can save their song, which kind of for the artist like guarantees that they'll probably at least play it again. You know, so I can't do this without you guys. So I appreciate you, and it's just cool that I do something that you guys like listening to. So, and to see it actually like working again, is just, it's so cool. You know, you guys probably know before I quit my job, I was at a point where I was just like, maybe I'll put some stuff out, but I'm just kind of like, I don't want to make content. I was just so over it. I was tired of it, you know. And then I just, something clicked for me that was just like, oh, that's why I love it. I was hung up on something small that I didn't like about it. I like lost my way. I was going down the wrong path, and I had to like, you know, get back on track. So, but I can't do this without you guys, and I appreciate you. I really do. So hopefully, I can put out some other stuff that that isn't just clips of all the covers and stuff that you've already seen, and it's entertaining for you guys, and I know you all understand. So I can't thank you enough. I appreciate it. Every time I vlog down here, I have to look at these freaking 20 amp outlets receptacles that are on that 15 amp circuit, and it drives me crazy. I'm gonna go. Thanks for the support, guys. I will see you tomorrow.